Hello, everyone, and welcome to One Story Channel. Today, we continue to share the book Conversations with God. Let's dive into Neale's world and explore questions about life, success, pain, relationships, and all the challenges we face in life. And God will provide you with all the answers. Like many of us, Neale often felt overwhelmed with anxiety and uncertainty. He had hundreds, thousands, even millions of questions swirling in his mind, but he often didn't know where to start. He knew he needed answers, but these questions seemed so vast and complex that they left him feeling lost. One day, Neale decided to stop delaying. He began to list the questions buried deep within his heart, no matter how simple or shallow they might seem. Slowly, the questions began to emerge, the list expanded, and Neale, with a heart full of sincerity, asked the questions that troubled him most. When will my life finally take off? How can I make things work and achieve true success? Will this struggle ever end? He asked softly, as if hoping for a divine voice to answer him. As time passed, his questions deepened. Why are my relationships always so challenging? Is there a path to happiness? Or am I destined to struggle in relationships for the rest of my life? Neale's voice was filled with confusion and anticipation. He continued his search. Why can't I ever make enough money? Am I destined to live a life of scarcity, barely scraping by? What is holding me back from reaching my full potential? These questions, along with the confusion he experienced in his daily life, left Neale feeling deeply anxious and powerless. The questions kept coming. Why can't I do what I truly want and still make a living? How can I resolve my long-standing health issues? Why am I plagued by chronic illness? What deeper reasons lie behind these ailments? Neale also pondered the mysteries of karma. Why am I here? What am I meant to learn from my experiences? Is reincarnation real? How many past lives have I had? Is there really something called karmic debt? His thoughts delved further into the supernatural. Sometimes I feel like I possess supernatural powers. Do supernatural beings really exist? Have those who claim to have such powers truly encountered spirits? Neale's confusion extended to his thoughts on wealth and doing good deeds. If doing good requires money, does that mean if I choose to do God's work, to heal the world, I can also prosper? Is there a contradiction between the pursuit of wealth and spirituality? Next, he raised questions about sex. Where does sex fit in the human experience? Is it, as some religions claim, only meant for reproduction? By denying or distorting sexuality, can one truly achieve divine enlightenment? As his questions deepened, Neale tried to untangle the many mysteries of the universe. Is there life on other planets? Have they visited us? Are they watching us? Do they also have their own gods? If different forms of life exist, does each one have its own deity? These questions not only filled Neale's heart but also made him acutely aware of life's uncertainties and challenges. Behind Neale's questions lay a deep desire to find real answers and a revelation about the meaning of his life. Neale's questions led him into deep reflection, and at that moment, a voice began to resonate within him, responding to his inquiries in great detail. This voice, seemingly a divine revelation, started to guide Neale in understanding the profound issues that troubled him. You asked when your life will finally take off. You must understand that there are a set of universal laws that cannot be ignored or broken. These laws aren't meant to bind you but to create the framework you need to possess and create whatever you choose. The voice spoke gently yet powerfully. These laws are not only to help you understand the world, they are also tools for you to co-create with the universe. By following these laws, you are able to choose and create whatever you desire. In fact, you are always creating your reality. Everything you've experienced has been shaped by these laws. Neale fell into deep contemplation. He realized that many of his past confusions arose because he hadn't truly understood how these universal laws operated. He began to see that he wasn't just a passive participant in life's experiences but an active creator. Every moment, he had been choosing his reality, creating his experiences according to these universal laws. I created these laws so you can create what you want, the divine voice continued to explain. These laws cannot be broken, nor can they be ignored. Whether you are aware of them or not, they are always in operation. And every moment, you are using these laws to shape your life experiences. You cannot escape these laws because they are the foundation of your existence. Neale felt a newfound sense of awareness. He began to understand that he had never fully recognized the power of these laws. At times, he even blamed external circumstances for his failures, not realizing that he himself was the creator of those experiences. He realized that his collaboration with God was not merely a concept but an ongoing, every-moment co-creation. The divine voice continued, "You cannot defy these laws because they are the principles by which everything moves. Without them, you would be unable to function. Every minute of your life is governed by these laws. Every experience you've had has been shaped by your use of them." Neale began to understand that in every moment he was creating his own reality. He was not just a passive participant in life but an integral part of the universe, actively creating every experience he went through. This gave him an unprecedented sense of power, prompting him to rethink the challenges and pains he had faced in the past. "You and I are partners," the voice continued. "We have an eternal agreement. My promise to you is to answer your questions, and your promise is to ask those questions and to understand the process of inquiry and response. This process is a form of co-creation. By asking questions, you participate in this process, and I, by answering, help you understand your creative power." Neale felt a deep sense of responsibility. He understood that he was not an isolated individual but part of the universe, responsible for co-creating reality with God. Each of his questions was a call from his soul for truth, and each answer from God was a recognition of his creative power and a form of support. "You are a being of three parts," the divine voice continued. "You are composed of the body, mind, and soul. These three parts make up your whole being. Your body is your expression in the material world, your mind is your tool in the realm of thought, and your soul is your true essence, existing beyond the physical and mental realms. Every experience you've ever had is the result of these three working together," the voice explained. "All of your feelings, all of your experiences, are creations of your body, mind, and soul. Through these experiences, you come to know yourself, recreate yourself, and experience your greatness as a part of the divine." Neale felt a deep sense of enlightenment. He began to understand that he was not just a material being. His body, mind, and soul together formed his complete existence. Every thought, every feeling, every experience he had ever had was the result of these three working in harmony. And these experiences were how his soul grew and expanded within the universe. "You are constantly recreating yourself," the voice continued. "With every choice you make, you are constantly experiencing and coming to know yourself. Just as I do, through this universe, you come to know and create yourself. This is an eternal partnership, never-ending. Every feeling, every thought you have experienced is a part of your soul's growth in the universe. And every choice you make is an opportunity to recreate yourself. Through these experiences, you come to know yourself, redefine yourself, and experience your greatness as a part of the divine." Neale realized that each of his questions was actually a call from his soul to experience deeper levels of himself. Each question was an opportunity for him to recreate and redefine who he was. He was no longer that confused individual. He was a powerful creator, discovering himself through every experience, experiencing his boundless potential as a part of the universe. "The relationship between you and me is a sacred partnership," the divine voice continued. "Through your choices, you are creating your reality, and through these laws, I support your creations. Every moment, you and I are co-creating your life experiences. And through these experiences, you come to know yourself, redefine yourself, and experience your greatness as a part of the divine." As the conversation deepened, Neale began to understand that every confusion and challenge in his life was part of his soul's growth. Each question was an opportunity for him to come to know himself, to recreate his life. And each answer was a co-creation between him and the universe. He was no longer that individual filled with confusion and anxiety. He was a powerful soul, discovering and defining himself through these experiences. "Your greatest desire, and my greatest hope, is for you to experience yourself as a part of the divine," the voice said, gently but firmly. "And to do that, you are constantly recreating yourself, constantly experiencing yourself. With every choice, every action, you experience yourself as a part of divine creation. This is your purpose, and it is part of the eternal agreement between us. Neale finally understood that the answers he had been seeking were already within him. Every question was a call from his soul, and every answer was an opportunity for him to come to know himself, to experience himself as a part of the divine. He was no longer the individual overwhelmed by confusion and anxiety. He was a powerful creator, discovering and defining himself with every experience. Neale's story is one of self-discovery. Through his conversations with God, he found the answers to life, and more importantly, he found his true power. His story will continue to inspire countless others to seek their inner truth, to come to know themselves, and to become who they are meant to be. Thank you for following our channel, and we look forward to continuing to share conversations with God. This is not just Neale's story, it is the story of every soul seeking self-discovery and truth in the universe. Every question is an opportunity for the soul to grow, and every answer is the result of our co-creation with the universe. Neale found his answers, and you too can find yours on your journey.